Good morning. Welcome students to the third video lecture on apiculture. So in the previous video lecture, we have discussed about the different worker bees, and here is a picture that you can see a nurse bee who is feeding the young one. This is a worker bee with the wax on the abdomen. These flakes of wax, these white pieces that you can see, these are the flakes of waxes, bee wax. This is the foraging bee giving, or the in-house bees are collecting the food from the foraging bees. These are the guard bees defending against the attack. This is an intruder. This is not a honeybee. It's an intruder wasp, and it is guarded by, the hive is guarded by these bees. So they are the guard bees. Then there are the few honeybees who will be usually moving or sitting around this open hive entrance. And there are some bees, they will be moving their wings, thus aerating the hive. So these are the fanners. Okay. Then they exhibit orientation flights. The young bees walk out of the hive, fly a short distance to the front, turn by 180 degrees so that they are facing the hive, then hover back forth in arc. So these are the some type of flight orientations shown by this worker bees. Then there are the worker bees. This is a picture. You can see the worker bees returning after foraging with their legs loaded with pollen. You can see here the prothoracic leg is loaded with pollen. The pollen basket is filled with pollen. This is a picture of bee collecting the nectar from the pollen. Nectar and pollen from the flower. And this is a picture of honeybees, foraging bees collecting the water for the hive. And apart from this, there is a communication seen in honeybees. Mainly they communicate about the food sources. They perform the two types of dances, such as the waggle dance. This is a waggle dance, and a round dance and waggle dance. So in order to communicate about the food source, the honeybees either perform a round dance or they perform the waggle dance. And they perform the waggle dance when there is a plenty supply of food source, they perform the waggle dance, and if there is a little supply, they will be performing the round dance. And this direction of this movement or performing this dance depend upon the orientation of the food source, and they orient the food source with respect to the sun. Okay, so you need not study the orientation and all in detail. So this is a clear picture of the round dance. First, the bee will be moving towards the left, then towards the upside, then will be moving a semicircle to the return to the normal position. So as in school, there are the two things to be communicated communicated among the fellow members. It's about the distance and the direction, and these two pieces of information are translated into separate components of dance. So these two informations are communicated among the fellow beings. This is a tail waggle dance. They move forward by moving their tail by vigorously moving the tail, by wagging the tail, and they move forward a little bit, then move towards the right, forms a semicircle, return to the same position, and again they move forward and returns to their left, and returns back to the normal position. And during their straight movement, they just waggle the tail. So that's the tail wagging dance performed by the honeybees in order to communicate that there is a plenty supply of food. And the orientation of this movement also happens uh, with respect to the direction of the sun. If the food source is towards the sun, they waggle upwards. Towards the sun means they will be waggle their tail and move upwards. And if it is away from the sun, then they will move downwards. They waggle and move downwards, which denotes that the food source is away from the hive. So this is piece of information that is communicated with the hive, and everything is with respect to the hive and the sun. So that's all about the communication. And next we will just pass on to the beekeeping methods and the beekeeping equipments. It's very important topic, and the place where the beekeeper keeps the bee is called as a apiary. So what is a apiary? The place where a beekeeper keeps his or her bees is called as a apiary or the bee yard. The bee colony is kept inside a hive that is made from a series of wooden boxes and frames and hold wax sheets for the bees to use as a starting point when the building the honeycomb. So the bee colony is kept inside the hive, that is, it is made by we are just giving a space for the bees to reside over. That means we are just giving a home for a bee, and so that the maximum energy will be utilized by these bees for the production of the honey rather than spending on building a hive. Okay, small pieces of boxes are made, and a top cover there also will be there. We will see in the hives in detail. The top box contains the honey, while the bottom box is used to hold the queen bee and the worker bee. And the most commonly used hive, it is a Langstroth bee hive, and it is designed for beekeeping. There are two types of hives used. There are the indigenous method of beekeeping, that is examine the wall and or the fixed hive. Then there are the movable hive. Nowadays this movable hive are more common and they are economical. These are the different types of Langstroth hives. They are the nucleus. There are the small bee hives which can hold only about the 5 frames, and there are the 8 frame hives. They are the lighter, smaller, and the easier for the older apiarist. That means it's a small box. It can hold only the few honeybees, or it can support only the small colony. Then there are the standard 10 frame box. They can weigh about the 35 to 40 kg when it is full. So these are the different types of Langstroth hive boxes that can be used in a hive. And the typically movable Langstroth hive composed of the 6 parts. It is a stand. There is a stand. There is a bottom board. There is a brood chamber. There is a super chamber, there is an inner cover, there is a top cover. So these are the different parts. There is a bottom board, then there is a brood chamber, bottom chamber, there is a super chamber, or it is also called as a honey chamber. Then there is an inner cover, then there is a topper cover and the frames. Okay, inner cover, then outer cover. So these are the different parts of a movable hive. The size and the number of the frames are variable according to the need, and according to the need of a person. If the hive it is mainly meant for a larger intending the large harvesting of large amount of honey, then they can use a larger hive, or we can use a smaller hive if it is for only the household purpose. And typical movable hive size and the number of the frames vary according to the need of the people, and the perforation size of the sink sheet is only the 0.375 centimeter, but the thorax of the queen is about 0.43 to 0.45 centimeters, so the queen cannot pass through the pore. So actually this perforation sink sheet, that is called as a queen excluder, which is kept in between the brood chamber and the honey chamber, so as to prevent the movement of queen between these chambers. Okay, let's see the parts. The basic part, it is a stand on which the whole box is placed, and it is an adjusted to make a slope so that the rainwater comes down slowly. So the position of this stand will be slightly in the slanting position so as to avoid the logging of water during the rainy season. And the stand is mainly there to avoid the ground touching of these boxes, and thus to prevent from the predators such as ant, crawling predators. Then there is a bottom board. You can see here the bottom board is situated above the stand and forms a proper base, and it has a two gates. You can see here two gates for the entrance and other for the exit. Then there is a brood chamber above that. This is a bottom board and this is a brood chamber, and most important part provide within the 5 to 10 frames, and each frame of the wax sheet is held at the vertical position where the bees start making the walls of the cells. Here you can see small bars, and these are the frames on which the bees makes the walls and the cells. Then every sheet of the wax is known as a comb foundation. So we are just providing the bees with a comb foundation which attracts the bees for the comb preparation on both sides, and it helps in obtaining a regular strong worker brood cell comb which can be used repeatedly. And this comb foundation can be used repeatedly after the harvesting of the honey. You can just clean it and use it for the next box preparation. Next, it is about to that of the chamber. It is a super chamber. It is without the cover and the base. It is provided with the many frames containing the comb foundation to provide the additional space for the expansion of the hive. There is a super chamber, that's only an additional space provided for the honeybees to build more combs. There is an inner cover. It's a wooden piece for covering of the super, as many holes for proper ventilation, and there is a top cover. It is sloping. It can be made up of the zinc sheet or the plastic sheet that fitted it to protect from the colony from rain. Okay, so these are the different parts. There is a bottom, there is a stand, above which there is a bottom board, then there is a super chamber or the brood chamber. Then there is a queen excluder. This prevents the queen from moving from this brood chamber to the honey chamber, and above the bottom chamber or the brood chamber there is a honey chamber, and above that there is a inner and the outer cover. So the honey chambers, we can just increase the number of the chambers in order if the number of bees are more. Then we have discussed about the queen excluder. The queen excluder is nothing but a wire mesh size and wire mesh piece that guards the queen and the drone, prevents the queen and the drone to move from the brood chamber to the honey chamber. Only the workers can pass through it. Okay, that's all in this video section. We will just continue in the later videos. Thank you.